Hello, everyone. Sylvia here from Rock the Cradle. Today, I am chatting about tearing. It's that dreaded T word, isn't it? And how to prevent tearing during birth. It's a question I get a lot from women and people in labor. And it's like, I don't want to tear. How can I prevent tearing? So I thought I would delve in quickly today and chat about that. Is tearing something that you can prevent? I would say, yeah, it is. It is something that we can prevent. Sometimes we can't, and we don't control, much in birth, but there are certain things that we can do that will help us to avoid tearing. So, when we talk about tearing, there are 4 degrees of tearing in birth, and the first one would be light tearing along, around the vagina. And often that does not need any stitching. And second degree would be inside the vagina. That when we talk about, second degree tear, that is inside the vagina. And I think, the tissues are quite fragile. Sometimes you have a little baby, Superman baby or Wonder Woman baby coming out with a little hand. Size of the head, all of these things can impact the tearing. The third degree, that's when we get into the actual perineum. So when we're talking about the perineum is tearing into, the vagina and the rectum going towards the rectum. And then fourth would be a tear going into the rectum and the muscles there. So not fun. As I'm talking about this, I'm even like my pelvic floor is raising, going, Did I tear during birth? Yes, I did. In my first birth, I did. Do all women tear? No. I've had a lot of women, even with a first baby, not have any tears. It could be partly genetics, but I think also their, size of baby plays a part. What position, how long you push for, and what did you do anything beforehand to prep so let's dive into a couple of things that can help. I think a warm cloth during the pushing stage can be really helpful. Sometimes I see doctors getting some nice warm cloths and putting them against the perineum to get the tissues just nice and malleable so that the baby's head can come out. At one of the hospitals here that I love, they provide a bottle of almond oil, and that's something you can bring yourself. And as the baby's head is crowning, they just put a whole bunch of almond oil to, I guess, lubricate the area. When they don't have almond oil, they'll use some gel. And that can be helpful as well. What I don't like about that, and I think it can maybe, aggravate the area a little bit. Thanks, Jessica, for listening. What I don't like is when they do put the oil and the gel, and then they're just too manual. They're playing in the vagina too much. Now, of course, if you have an epidural, and you don't feel it, it might not bother you so much, and they might be more present. When you don't have an epidural, they often stay away because it just, you can really feel everything, and you can let them know not to be bothering you like that. So warm compresses, some almond oil or gel to lubricate. In one of my classes, I actually had a doctor at one point, and she was actually saying that, the more we play in the vagina, the more the doctors are in there, the more swelling it can create. So she does not advocate for any type of, just letting baby and the mom do the work that you're doing. Positions is a big one. Positioning. And when I talk positions, most people think that you give birth on your back, at the end when you're delivering. And that's because that's what we see in the movies and TV, right? I mean, that's what we just have this idea of, okay, it's time to deliver our babies. Let's get on our back. But there are lots. There are several other positions that you can use. some like side lying, hands and knees, and on your knees, squatting, standing up and pushing as well, squatting and maybe holding on to the squat bar. These I would call, like, sometimes I call it alternative hospital positions, anything else other than the back. What that does is it keeps your sacrum open. And when your sacrum is open, the tailbone can move, which is a great option. And, being able to move during the pushing stage is super important, because you don't know what, position your baby needs to be in. It's not just on the back. And when you get on your back, I'm not saying back is not a good position. For many people, they do like it and they are comfortable and baby does come out. But you just don't want to get stuck there for 3 hours, because the longer the pushing stage often can create some aggravations and perhaps more tearing. That being said, quick births as well. I think so. Controlling the pushing. I've seen very fast births where people, women are like bearing down so fast because they feel that, but they lack a bit of control at the pushing stage. Well, then, the baby, comes right out, but there was lots of tearing in that situation, just because of the rapidity, the quickness of it all. So that control, so whatever position you're in when the baby's head is crowning, to have more of a control and try breathing the baby out. Those are some of the tips that doulas work with when we're with you, helping you to control the breathing and the I had one client, she put her hand on her baby's head so she could feel it gently come out so that it wasn't barreling out. So that was very helpful. She didn't tear at all. And like I said before, if you're just joining us now, not everybody tears in childbirth. It doesn't have to be that way. Certain things that can be done prior. There are people who do perineal massage. If you work with a pelvic floor specialist, they can show you how to do it, and your partner can get involved. I know there's some debate around this. I don't think I'll go into that right now, but you do your research. There, people saying, yes, it's really, really helped me, doing some, stretching the perineum before birth to get it used to that feeling. But there are people in the birth world that say, no, we shouldn't do that because it creates additional scarring and can create more tears. So do your research and look into that. There are also some products, and there's one I'm thinking of right now. And I did have, I've had some feedback from clients saying, some excellent feedback from clients using it. It's called the Epino. And that's another way of allowing, it's like a balloon that you would put into the vagina, and then I think you put air in it and it gradually opens up. And as you use it more often, the vagina gets to stretch. Again, some people would say this, don't do this, and others would say to do it, but I just want to give you options and say that there are things like this out there to help you. So that's what I have to say today, is that, in terms of tearing, what you can be doing to avoid it. It's not a guarantee that you will tear. And if you do, just know that they will stitch you, provide you stitches. And if it's just a first degree, most likely they won't. A second, third, and fourth, they will want to for sure. And they are, with dissolving stitches that will go away within the week. That's all I have to say. Thank you for listening. Join me every Tuesday around 2:00, and let me know if you'd like me to talk about something in particular. It's always a pleasure to be able to provide you all information. If you would like more information, I go more in depth in this in our prenatal classes. We have 2 types of classes. We have one on Zoom, in person, where you can interact with the teachers and other students. And we have a video class, and I'll put the link to that in the bottom. And the video class is really the same content. It's just that you're going to get to know me in your living room, and it's a DIY class where you can watch the videos on your time, when you want and where you want. So thanks again for joining. Nice to always have you here and in the replay, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.